Hello everybody, and today we are doing What If Deku Had a Goat/Sheep Quirk Part 2. Thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers. This is not the special, but a comment in the news discussion post I posted. I hope you can see it. Maybe. And yeah, I hope we can get some good submissions there. And yeah, if you guys don't see it, then just comment. Anyway, yeah, this incredibly popular series is getting a part 2. So, on to the video.
This is the intro music for the good intro, so I don't get copyright struck.
Okay, guys, so we continue this off right after the USJ festival. No, not the festival. Anyway, we're going to fast forward all the way to the UA Sports Festival. So, as always, they do the coronation and everything. And Bakugo does his same speech, and Izuku, who was waiting for him when he got off, was like, "That wasn't really nice, Katsuki." As Bakugo looks at him like, "I don't care." As Izuku backhands him, as Bakugo walks away very annoyed. And when the event starts, everyone is told to go, and Izuku was expected to get first, no doubt. So Izuku immediately blitzed past everybody. And Shoto was even surprised, like, how did she already get through everybody? As Izuku quickly arrived at the next obstacle. And, well, the first obstacle was that very small gateway. Anyway, she quickly arrives at the 0-pointers. When she hopped up to them, she used her horns, and they went right through the 0-pointers. And Izuku's like, yes. As the next one tries to hit her, but Izuku jumps onto its back. Not grabbing anything, she quickly runs up its back and rips out some insides, and the robot falls. And Izuku quickly keeps running. By the time Todoroki and everyone else has reached the second obstacle, the first obstacle, Izuka has arrived at the massive gap, and in the distance, Izuka sees Ochako Uraka catching up to her, and she's like, interesting, didn't think Ochako would be that fast. As she quickly she walks across the rope without thinking, and she does it easily. The entire crowd is shocked because she didn't even look. She just quickly ran over it. And obviously Ochako floated herself over that. And Izuka, noticing Ochako was gaining on her, Izuka quickly stepped back, and Ochako, not expecting this, is like, what the? As Izuka rams her with her horns, and this gets a little blood wound from Ochako as she falls onto the ground, as Izuku quickly keeps running. And President Mike comments on this like, oh, a devious trick. Smart. As I was like, yes, I suppose so. In the end, you have to do what you have to do to win. And Izuka, eventually arriving at the minefield, notices the places with mines are a little shaded brown. So she just quickly bobs and weaves. But eventually Ochako catches up to her, floating above all the mines. And Izuka, thinking this is her chance, she quickly throws a massive thing of wool at Ochako. And when Ochako gets most of it off, lots of it gets in her eyes, actually. And Ochako is sort of blinded, so she, when she thinks she's down, she says release but lands in a tree. And Izuka, by that time, had already passed the finish line. And over the announcements, Midnight says, Class 1A's Izuka Midoriya is the winner. And everyone cheers, as it's always like, as I'd expect from my assistant. And Izuka is proud of herself, like, how is she so fast? As Ochako quickly arrives at the second, like, dang it, I was so close. As All Might in the stands is a little saddened, like, oh, young Ochako didn't get first. And Ochako is one for all in this, by the way. Because Pog. Anyway, Izuka and Ochako shake hands like, that was a well-fought fight, Izuka. As Izuka's like, you too? I didn't know you were that fast, Ochako. As Ochako's like, yeah, I really pushed myself training. And eventually Todoroki arrives, like, how are you two so fast? As he's drenched in sweat. And Bakugo eventually arrives, like, I was beat by the freaking mochi. And yeah, then everyone else arrives. And when Midnight spins her spinner again, she gets the Cavalry Battle. And she quickly explains the rules and tells everyone to get into teams. And then first place will have 1,000,000 points. And Izuka's like, a challenge. And she gets a team of Monoma, we'll say the guy with the solid air quirk, and he gets Ochako on his team. So he has a lot of points. So when it all starts, Ochako immediately floats them up in the air, and Izuka makes a massive ball of wool, and it's like a wall, and they make a little platform for them to watch, and the man who was with solid air lands on it, and that's when Bakugo comes lunging at them like, I'll get you, as Izuka jumps over to him and kicks him in the face. Like, no can do. As Bakugo falls down, like, so strong. As he nearly face plants, but Sero grabs his hand that was outstretched towards him, and he gets yanked back onto there. And Todoroki sends a massive ice blast towards them, and Izuka is like, Ochako, make us fly, as they start to float again. And Monoma quickly touches the guy with solid air and makes a massive glass block above the entire arena, and it quickly starts cracking. And when it shatters, lots of glass is obviously crumbling down towards the arena. And lots of people get out because of this, because their rider falls off. So there was only around 4 teams left after all the glass, and they immediately ended the event because that was their 4 teams for the finals. Anyway, as in canon, Izuka fights Shinso. But Izuka, not really having much of a personality, not really caring about what other people said at all, was totally not affected by any of the comments Shinso had. When Shinso said, "You're lucky to have such a strong quirk and a loving family," as Izuka got a little ticked off by this, and she's quickly put him in a chokehold, she says, I had none of those growing up, so don't tell a lie. As she knees him in the back and throws him out of the arena. And Shinso's like, oh, I'm sorry, as he falls unconscious. And next round, we have Todoroki versus Izuka. So when it starts, Izuka immediately makes wool blocks under her and uses it to get in the air. And Todoroki quickly shot ice at her. But Izuka just dodged it to maybe get in close. So eventually Todoroki didn't notice, but she jumped behind him and landed on him with her knees onto his back. And the crowd heard a loud crunch when she fell onto his back. And Todoroki screamed like, ow, that hurt, as she quickly starts hitting him a lot. And when she punts his head into the ground and lifts his head, is like, is that it? As Todoroki, unconscious, doesn't respawn. As she tells the announcer, I think he's unconscious. As the announcer's like, oh, let me check, as he quickly runs over. But Todoroki then nearly covers Izuka in ice before she grabs his foot and yanks him inside, and he gets pounded. And yeah, that's how it ends. So Izuka, going on to face Ida, knew how this would work. So the second he tried to go offensive, Izuka boxed him in the face immediately. And Ida, being hurt by this, quickly jumped backwards. And Izuka just started hitting him a lot. And eventually, he was out. Anyway, we go into Bakugo versus Izuka. Bakugo's like, I won't lose so easily, you teacher's pet. As when the match started, he immediately sent a blinding explosion in front of her. And when she eventually cleared out of the fog, she heard howitzer impact as Izuka jumped out of the way and sent a massive wall of wool in front of her. And it completely blocked all of the explosion. When Bakugo was recovering, thinking, that was easy, as he's kicked in the back of the neck and falls to the ground immediately, as all of his arms and legs are covered in wool that weigh around 200 pounds. So he can't move at all. And he's like, dang it, how did you move that fast? As Izuka's like, well, this was an easy one. Thank you, Bakugo, for the little entertainment you provided. As she quickly drags him by the hair and throws him out of the arena. And Izuka is proclaimed the winner. Obviously, we have no stain arc, so because just replace Ochako with Izuku in that. Yeah, so that all happens to them. Anyway, after that, they do the final exams. They go basically the same. The exact same, actually. Izuka and we'll say Ochako and Bakugo versus All Might. And Izuka was teamed up with Aoyama, but her superior strategy quickly overpowered 13. And they won. And yeah, so that's just off of the little we know about how that fight went. Anyway, Izuka, being ready for summer camp, was quickly shot down when she realized, oh, some kids won't get to go there. And Aizawa told her, well, Izuka, you'll be the assistant, so you'll be actually learning with me, and you'll be helping teaching them. Just for you, honestly. So, Izuka was actually okay with that because she was already the strongest in the class. Anyway, when the villains broke out, well, they just started pouring into the summer camp. She got surprised and because she was with Aizawa, quickly went outside. And Dabi was like, 2 for 1, as both of them quickly dodged out of the way. And she used a wool scarf, kind of like Aizawa's, and immediately yanked him towards her. And it being 200 pounds was surprising to Dabi, and he couldn't move at all. And she's like, this is it, villain, as she tries to break his arm for questions, but it quickly disappears into a little black puddle. And she's like, what just happened? As I was like, it was a clone. We need to go find everybody and save the students. As they both go together. And eventually they meet Ochako, who is completely bruised up. And she's got 2 broken arms. So Izuka watches like, wait, Ochako, what happened? As Izuka's like, Koda's safe, don't worry. As Izuka's like, oh, that's fine. Anyway, so, yeah, Aizawa doesn't really help for the rest of it. Anyway, the rest of it goes around the same. But where it gets interesting is the press conference after Bakugo was captured. Izuka was also in it, and when they ask her, what could you have done to help secure the student's safety? Izuku stands up. I am truly sorry for the loss of the student, but we did not have any understanding of the situation that was going on at the time, as we were teaching students. As Aizawa was pretty happy with that answer from her. And, yeah. The next day after that, All Might ends up retiring, and she's surprised about that, like, really? What happened? As the students tell her, didn't you see the news? And she's like, no, I was at a press conference. As they tell her, he was in a battle with a villain named All for One. And yeah, so she ends up being more of a teacher role for the rest of this. And in the what's it called arc, the Overhaul Arc, she's more so with Aizawa for the most of it. But we do fast forward to all the way to the Overhaul Arc, and Izuka is met with she gets separated from Aizawa, obviously, we'll say. And eventually she finds her way into the room where Ochako and Sir Night-Eye and Mirio were. As she suddenly enters in, she's right behind Overhaul, and she's like, well, no, he is like, give me Eri, you stupid brat, as Izuka quickly puts him in a chokehold and tightens her grip as much as she can, and he's like, I can't breathe at all, as she kicks him in the gut, knocking the wind out of him. And he suddenly falls unconscious. But right before he does, he elbows her in the face as hard as he can, breaking her nose. So when she goes to, like, grab it, he punches her in the face, and breaks a hole into the surface. And then sucks up his last teammate. And when he goes big red form, Izuka and Ochako step out. As Izuka looks to Ochako like, "You ready, Ochako?" She's like, "Yeah." As Izuka's like, "Well, Eri, I hope you can be of help with this fight." As they both they both go into the air and start fighting. And yeah, they end up beating Overhaul. And nothing really happens in the festival arc. And yeah, so that's where I'll be leaving the story for part 2. Yeah, it's over already, guys. Be happy. Actually, you're probably not happy. I'm quite sorry about that. I'm sorry for your content loss. Anyway, this is Itaku. You better say something on the community post. And yeah, subscribe, like, and maybe share with your 2 friends that are in your head. Bye-bye. You, come on, please.
Do-ba-do-do-do-ba-do. This is the outro music.